is Thursday, October 14th, and we're going to be going through Devious Licking things, which sounds disturbing.
Yay!
You
Yeah!
do not need your book today or tomorrow. We're not using it either day. When we come back from break that Monday, we'll get back into kids dying and stuff like that. So today we're going to talk about kids getting arrested, which not quite the same thing. Possibly entertaining. So we'll do that today. Tomorrow, again, not book. Tomorrow, different thing. Tomorrow, not kids getting arrested, but I think you'll enjoy what I have for us tomorrow too. And we'll go from there. Hi, Greg.
Name 3 things you use on a daily basis.
My remote.
Okay.
Yo.
This pencil.
Your mom.
Okay.
This shoe.
Your mom. Yo.
See how you didn't say English?
I did not. I don't use English all the time. I get made fun of for saying bestest.
Or math.
Let's see from there. And final word speechy thing for those of you wanting to do it. Tomorrow's last day that we'll be doing that for those of you who want to. After that, we'll move on from there. If you still want to beat the 11 seconds, you can. If you're trying to beat whoever our fastest kid is in here at what, 8.2?
8.1. It's 8.1.
8.1. I apologize, you are correct. This is quite down to it. Tomorrow will be the last time to try and beat that one also. Brandon, tomorrow, we're not going today. And then, see, that is for my kid on that one. I've already harassed that. All right. To the rest of you, my goal today, much like with Mondays, I do not want you having to take the homework home. The drawback is, it's going to require you to actually do a thing during class. Of the 3 homeworks this week, Mondays, today's, tomorrow's, today's probably the toughest of the 3. I don't think it's tough homework. I just think of the 3 easy homeworks, it's going to be the toughest one. It's going to be 5 questions again. Number 1 and number 5 are opinion. Numbers 2, 3, and 4 require you to actually pay attention in class and refer to things. That's what makes it tough, is it requires you to think. Good news is, what you're paying attention to is all about social media and stuff like that, so it shouldn't be too awful. Open up iPad, because I'm going to have you guys get started now. It's only 5 questions, but I figure the more time you have, the less chance of you guys having homeworky things. That's fine, if that works for you. Greg?
I got the bubble guts. I need.
What?
So find where it says Thursday, and then click on the one that says in-class writing. And it's going to pop up with the next screen that I'll walk you guys through. Hi, Nick. Well, then you'll probably have to do it on paper. Or you can do it and submit it tonight. Yeah, well, you might be able to get through it. That's up to you. All right. Once you go clicky-clicky, it's going to bring you to this screen.
No.
This one is very similar to Monday's. The whole top part is the same as Monday's. It says use complete sentences, use numbers so I know which answer each number goes to. Make sure you follow the directions. The same thing in all of them. The blue part at the bottom has different questions. Monday's was all about your opinions. Today's only partly about your opinions. So I'm going to make it get bigger so it's easier to see. Bigger. There we go. Number 1 is going to be your opinion in a response to the thing we're going to talk about here in a moment. So 1 says, why do you think these challenges and trends are so popular right now? And if you don't know the trends we're talking about, I'll explain them to you in a second. But why is it you think they're exploding? Why do you think they're popular with kids? What is it that's making kids want to follow them?
Because kids are dumb.
Then the second one, do you think they go too far, or are they just silly fun? You can answer both of those. You can answer just one of them. I'm happy either way. I just wanted to give you enough information to respond to. So if you answer the first one and you feel good, I'm fine with that. If you don't really want to answer the first one and you're like, well, the silly fun, that, whatever. I'm just trying to give you enough to respond to try and make it easier on you. Whatever opinion you have, you're going to find evidence in the articles to support it. 2, 3, and 4. The reason being is that one of the things I get told I have to do is I have to have you guys pull things from articles to support an opinion. So I tried to find an article that you guys would like. And so I tried to find one about kids getting in trouble for devious licks and slapping teachers and stuff like that. But you have to do the homeworky bit, which is find things in the article to support your thinking.
No.
All I want you to do is find 3 pieces of evidence, 3 facts in there that support whatever your thinking is. Number 5 says, in your opinion, how should schools go about protecting their property and staff without also negatively affecting the students? In the articles we're going to get into, we're going to find out like schools are locking kids out of bathrooms and stuff like that. And kids want to use the bathrooms, but if kids are ruining bathrooms, it becomes this balance of how do schools protect themselves while at the same time letting kids be kids. And so this is just my question to you guys. Is there a solution? Is there something that you guys can think of? This is where you do the typey thing. And I will give you a chance to talk. It just will be as we get farther into it. What I'm going to do now is we're going to do a little talky thing to buy you time to answer question number 1. So as I do talky thing, hopefully you answer number 1. Here's my question. How many of you guys are on TikTok? As in, you're familiar with it, you're on it, have an account, you've seen it? Okay, hands down from there, good. My next question. How many, regardless of being on TikTok, how many of you know what Devious Licks is referring to, what it is, stuff like that?
Yeah.
All right. Good job, 8th grader.
Thank you.
Thanks. Then let's go with, along those same lines, how many of you are familiar with the angelic yield trend? Good job, 8th grader. Oh, more than I thought. Let's go with, how many of you are familiar with the milk crate challenge?
I love that challenge.
Okay. I'll explain all of them. How many of you are familiar with the frozen honey challenge?
I did it.
Okay, gives you more information from there. Then let's see. Ooh. Prior to me mentioning it, because I had kids say that they heard about it because of me, how many of you had ever heard of the slap a teacher challenge prior to me saying something about it?
Yeah.
Again, thank you, 8th grader. All right. So if you're unfamiliar with these are all challenges that have popped up on social media. Mostly TikTok has been the main area where they've been. And so I went through and did some Googleinating.
Let's not do the milk crate.
If you're not sure what the milk crate challenge was, it's more old people than young people. For some reason, this was old people going, I don't think kids should be the only idiots out there. I would also like brain damage. And so adults tried to join in. And so they would build staircases out of the milk crates where you could walk up, but they get all weird and unbalancy. And when you see them going up, milk crates go to one side, and that's a man breaking his spine. And apparently they frown on the whole breaking your spine thing. So that was the milk crate challenge. Bella?
That one's actually a little bit over. It's supposed to be like 6.
Right. Well, apparently they're trying to do the advanced version. The frozen honey challenge on this one was more aimed at kids for this one than adults. The way it worked is you would take honey and you put it into a water bottle and then you would freeze it. And if you're unaware of the science behind it, what happens is the freezing of it makes all the water in the honey get pulled out. So it separates the water from it. And you have honey, which is already a thick and viscous kind of thing. And it becomes, instead of the thick and viscous, it becomes like almost a putty that you could then eat. The problem is it was concentrated sugar, which is bad because the human body's not made, even though you guys eat a lot of sugar, the human body can only take so much sugar before bad things happen. And eating this a lot of times would cause people's kidneys to shut down because your kidneys cannot pull out enough sugar and it would cause it to go roar and it would just stop. Other kids would become violently sick. The best ones, I mean best as in least damaging, were just people making weird expressions and having problems and stuff like that. So that was the frozen honey challenge. I tried to look up the slap a teacher challenge and thank God, like they've removed all of it from Google so you can't even really find stuff on it except for a few references and this amusing picture I found. And so that was the slap a teacher challenge they were responding to on that one. So leaving that up there for a moment to try and help you out from there. 1 second. Pause the thing. And we're back. Kat.
I was gonna say something about the honey trend. So I did it, but I did it with natural honey, which is better than like the fake one where they add a bunch of bad stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I had one of my students who did it and ended up missing school because his stomach shut down for like 2 days. And so I mean, it's one of those things where, again, the human body is not made to consume. It's like the Tide Pod challenge. Sometimes the human body is not made to consume those things.
Why can't you just like add water to the honey?
Well, you can, but the whole point of the freezing it was that pulls the water out. Then it's just eating honey.
Yeah, it's just being
It's the whole idea of doing a challenge, which if it's not stupid, it's not a challenge. I've got a feeling that's not. It's not like that's why there's not a do your homework challenge.
No!
Exactly. So that's why there's the other ones.
I don't know, it works pretty
Max.
I drank an entire
be
cans
don't
of
do
condensed milk last night,
I
which
pass
is
that every
360% of the daily sugar value that an average adult should take.
Cat.
So whenever I did the honey thing, because my stomach hurts if I drink too much or if I eat too much sweet stuff. So instead, I just like took a bite out of it every day and put it back in the freezer.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read article to you. Home children, this one right here, so you can find a little linky on there. The one that says the students are destroying bathrooms and swiping school supplies. This is the Devious Licks one. I will leave. I have this one, but kids were telling me that you can't see the questions while you're also typing at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave this up. It makes it. Some kids, their screen pops up weird, so I'm going to leave it up there to try and help you out. So your goal, as I'm reading, you want to find evidence in the story to support whatever your opinion was, whatever evidence you want to go with. All right. Students, and it doesn't have to be this one. You can find one from this one. We have 2 more articles coming up. So if this one doesn't work for you, use the other articles. That's fine. Oh, one last thing. My advice would be don't type yet. Just as we're reading, just highlight, circle, or something like that. It's way easier. Kids taught me that earlier today. Because other kids were complaining, like, just make little marks on the paper. And I was like, I'll pass that on to other kids. Up to you. Students are destroying bathrooms, swiping school supplies, in latest Tik Tok challenge gone awry. In recent weeks, an unusual phenomenon has rippled through schools across much of the country. As students have returned to class, bathroom toilets, soap dispensers, science lab microscopes, parking signs, and desks have disappeared or been damaged. Enticed by a viral Tik Tok challenge, students have pilfered or vandalized items at their schools and then showed off their antics, or devious licks, on the popular social media platform, often as a sped-up version of Ski Ski Based God by rapper Lil B playing in the background. In 2 school years, unlike any other ones, this is absolutely the last thing we need to be dealing with, a spokesman for the Canyon School District said, where bathroom mirrors have been shattered and toilets flooded. The Devious Licks challenge has sparked condemnation from already stressed school leaders. A handful of arrests and now action from TikTok, which announced Wednesday it's removing videos associated with the trend and will redirect related hashtags after reports of schools from California to Connecticut experienced vandalism and theft. We do not allow content that promotes or enables criminal activities, a spokesman for TikTok told the Washington Post.
Your microphone's breaking.
He was back and forth, noting that content like the Devious Licks challenge goes against the platform's community guidelines. Melissa Ladowney, principal at Loudon Childs Middle School in Florida, said the move from TikTok only goes so far. As soon as one hashtag is deleted, alternate phrases or spellings, such as diabolical licks or devious licks, pop up. Ladowney said private Facebook groups for principals have been awash in recent days of administrators commiserating over the latest challenge. It's added stress on the teachers, the students, and the staff, she told the Post. News reports from around the country suggest that the pranks carry a high price tag. A San Antonio school board shared photos of shattered mirrors, dislodged soap dispensers in the bathrooms, and while Southern California schools said paper towel dispensers and fire alarms had gone missing. At one Eastern Michigan high school, the principal reported that the trend had developed beyond swiping trophies for social media clout and into malicious vandalism, like intentionally clogged toilets. School administrators are responding by locking bathrooms and posting supervision outside the doors during the rare times restrooms are even accessible. Messages and public service announcements and letters to parents range from imploring students to help their overburdened school staff to warning that students may face fines, replacement costs, in-school suspension, or even criminal prosecution. TikTok challenges commonly grow from a silly dare or an attempt at a memorable reaction, like the milk crate and frozen honey challenges, into a viral trend in which participants try to outdo already outlandish feats, often against the pleading of medical professionals, like the Tide Pod challenge that was popular for a while. It's all for likes and what they feel is popularity online. They want to be famous. It's not even like the old saying of 15 minutes of fame. It's more like 30 seconds. All right. So, if you're unaware, we had Devious Licks.
Forrest. Xavier.
Yeah, I'm aware. Work.
Yeah, it works. It's hitting you.
Surprisingly enough, it does. So we had it here, but nowhere near as bad as other schools. One, I'm on online teacher forums, and there were teachers talking about other schools that hit way worse than us. My own two children are both at Fisher's High School. One's a freshman, 9th grade. The other one's a junior in 11th grade. Fisher's High School got hit bad. It was to the point where kids were not allowed to use the restroom during the day. They just straight up locked out all the bathrooms. If a kid wanted to use the bathroom during the day, you had to have a teacher go into the bathroom with you because they were trying to protect themselves from all the damage being done. But the issue is, does that stop kids from then actually using the bathroom throughout the day? And so trying to find, and that's what goes down to number 5, as schools try to find ways to counteract things that kids have done, does that encroach on student rights? But at the same time, how can a school protect itself without negatively affecting kids in some way? Greg?
You talking about it didn't hit hard. Somebody took a bathroom door, the whole toilet paper roll. They unscrewed like the screws from the bottom of the sink, and then they pulled up the sink.
And it was even, oddly enough, small things like here at our school, we had not the whole paper towel dispenser, but the paper towels inside of it. Kids would take all of those out in the boys' bathroom, which, hilarious. Problem is, boys could not then dry their hands. Luckily, they still washed their hands, but they did what Caden pointed out, the handshaky thing. The problem with the handshaky thing is kids would get their hands wet, turn around, shake them off as they left, and there ended up being this big wet spot throughout the tile as kids were leaving. And standing outside in the hallway out there, my room was over in that area, I would hear kids slip and fall. And we had kids leaving the bathroom limping. And I'm like, what happened? Like, they slipped and fell and got hurt. And they weren't even necessarily the ones involved, but it's the side effects of it. And so it's one of those things where hilarious until you were the kid that fell. And then just not so funny because we had kids who were in pain from it. So it's that balance of things going back and forth.
Trip regarding the
Bella?
But Miles.
This is how you know people are stupid. Just take your hands and go like this. It's not that hard.
The problem is the first several, that's what I would do too, but the first several kids would just sort of throw their hands. But you might not know this, but some junior high boys are not real smart. Just throw that out there. Elizabeth,
At the high school, didn't they like ride a golf cart?
they did.
I have a video.
Same thing. My kids showed me the same video, and it was stolen, and kids drove to the... Yeah, I hear you. I'm ignoring you, Brandon.
Let me talk, please.
I'm not ignoring you. And then, and the best part is they posted it with their name attached to it. Because my kids showed it to me, and it was on that kid's TikTok account with their name. I mean, and again, I don't even have to report it because teachers already were aware. And part of it is, it's one thing to do stupid illegal things, but for some reason kids are training themselves to do stupid illegal things and then record it and then post it for people to see. I'm like, that's just dumb.
Money.
Welcome, thank you again. Brandon.
You said they were clogged toilets, right?
Uh-huh.
Did someone just take a massive
Well, you should have seen the boy. I was in the restroom one time, and someone took a big doodle. Yeah, it was bad.
I don't think that was a Devious Lick.
Cat.
I think someone did.
So basically, Bella said earlier about like the hand thing. Basically, one time we ran out of like giant paper towels at home, and so I went to go, brush it on my clothes, and I was wearing like this slippery stuff, like slippery shirt. I ended up doing it on my pants, but still, like some people wear like
Things that don't absorb water.
Yeah, but then again, not a lot of people do it, so they could have just done this.
True.
Then again, it gets your hands dirty.
Greg.
The thing is with the bathroom, when like the people fall in the bathroom, they try to be cool and think they can like slide across the floor. And they end up falling.
Again, you had me at sometimes junior high boys are dumb. So, yeah.
Probably mostly Pia, but.
So, by the way, this is the part where I'm trying to buy you guys time to do responsive things.
Yeah.
So, that was well, not now. Now we're moving on to the next one. That was the time. So, moving on to
Mr. Brovicast. Hi.
next article. So, on this one, again, you can find ones from any of the 3 articles from there. Is it how many points I'm charging you? I can help answer that one.
How many?
So apparently kids elevated it from the Devious Licks and then it became the Slap a Teacher one. So backside of paper, going down, there's 2 shorter articles. And the one on the left, 2 students suspended for slapping substitute teacher. This was an elevated one. I did research into it. No, it was nowhere near as popular as Devious Licks. But Devious Licks, I think kids did because you could be sneaky. You were still idiots because you posted video of yourself breaking laws. But slapping a teacher, there's no way of being sneaky. It's you slapping a person and recording you slapping a person, and there's no way to do that and easily get away with it, as these kids found out in this article. Elizabeth?
How are you supposed to like go through the hallways with a full back and door?
And one of the things I mentioned earlier was my own 2 children thought the Devious Licks were hilarious, which became an argument in my house because I was like, they're not funny, they're just mean, but whatever. A lot of the ones they would show me like that, I'm not good at video editing, but I could video edit and make that look like I stole a thing. Because if if you're in a school and there's a bathroom where, say, it's missing a toilet because of construction, I'm pretty sure some of the ones I saw, kids would go into one that has a toilet and then just turn the video towards themselves, like, I'm going to steal that thing, and then you pause it, and then you come back over to the second one that has the missing toilet, and then you're like, I got it, and you show the empty one, and then you show yourself running down a hallway laughing, and then all of a sudden you edit that together, and you're like, oh my God, that person stole the toilet. Because in real life, I'm a 45-year-old man. I can't run down a hallway carrying a toilet. So I don't know how a kid could do it. So I think a lot of that is just creative video editing over actual thievery. Now, some things were legit stolen, things that could fit into a backpack. But other things, I think, was just, there's kids who are good at video editing, which is a life skill that impresses me. Mina?
If the trend is still going on, the next thing you'll know, like right now, like in 2021, people would like start maybe like editing and make it look like they actually stole the school.
Sure. 2 students suspended for slapping a substitute teacher as part of Tik Tok trend. 2 Lumberton Junior High School students have been suspended after slapping a substitute teacher on Thursday, according to the public schools blah blah chief communications officer. 2 7th graders slapped a teacher as part of the Tik Tok Slap a Teacher challenge, said the chief communications officer. The suspensions will last for 10 days. For those of you unfamiliar with how the rankings work, typically if you get suspended, it's for 1 to 3 days for most things kids do. A fairly extreme one will be 5 days. 10 days means they're in the process of removing you from school. So 10 days is pretty much like the extreme level that we're going to get to. Like having your phone out during class is usually right up there to the 10-day level, because that's a good way to lose your phone, he says, helping out.
I'm looking at the question.
Okay, just check. TikTok is a social media site sharing things in which users share videos often synchronized to music. Recently, trends such as slap a teacher have circulated within the social media platform. The trend encourages students to slap a teacher throughout the month of October. Lumberton Junior High School administrators have reported that disciplinary action has been taken against the students involved, and they were removed from campus. The public schools of Robeson County plan to petition the courts for assault charges to be filed against the students as well. That last line means not only are they getting suspended, not only are going to get arrested for it, the school is pushing for them to have a permanent criminal record because of this event.
Even kids?
Especially, these are 2 12-year-old kids. The incident took place when one student slapped a substitute teacher and the other student followed suit. Once our school district was made aware of students potentially participating in these reckless TikTok challenges, we were very clear that these actions were not going to be tolerated, and that there would be consequences for students that choose to engage in this behavior. Our priority continues to be our students. We also have obligations to our teachers and staff members to provide them with a working environment that is safe. Any student who physically assaults a staff member will be held responsible both legally and by board policy. The school district released a statement Tuesday warning students they would face assault charges if they participate in the trend. Joey? Not at the moment, I'm teaching, but after class you can. If this does occur in our school district, it will be treated as an assault and the proper authorities will be notified to charge the student. This next part I'm going to repeat twice. We also want our teachers and staff to know they have the right to defend themselves if something were to happen to them. Allow me to repeat it. We also want our teachers and staff to know they have the right to defend themselves if something were to happen to them. So, what does that line mean?
You can hit the back.
So, that's going to be another conversation in a moment. But yeah, the school is coming out and saying, because of this trend, if you slap a teacher, we are giving our teachers permission to retaliate in any physical way that they want. So, I thought that was it. And we're going to get into a discussion of that in just a moment. Switching to the other one, I'm going to get your question. I want to read the last article, so you guys want to read it on your own. So, we're going to talk about schools retaliating, like letting teachers hit back. Well, the last one I have is the 12-year-old girl wets herself in class. Mom says teacher violated the child's human rights. So the idea is, what is it teachers can do when kids are doing these things? And here we're going to talk about a teacher who stopped letting kids go to the bathroom because of behavior, and a kid peed themselves in class. Does that become an issue also?
Embarrassing.
Sounds like I myself.
12-year-old girl wet herself in class. Mom says the teacher violated the child's human rights.
Oh yeah!
A parent told the Durham School Board Thursday night a teacher violated her daughter's basic human rights last month by not letting her use the bathroom. Shalicia Dixon said her 12-year-old daughter wet herself at Neal Middle School on September 27th after a teacher refused to let students leave the 6th grade classroom because of the class's behavior with a substitute teacher the week before. This should never have happened, Dixon said. Our children have rights, and using bathroom privileges as a form of discipline is inhumane. According to Dixon, the teacher was keeping students in the classroom because the kids had been disrespectful and had walked out on the substitute. Dixon said her daughter was not among the children who had misbehaved. It took almost an hour to bring her daughter fresh clothes after being told about the incident, Dixon told the school board. She had to leave her job, run home, get the clothes, bring them to school, with her daughter having to sit in wet clothes the whole time. This incident upsets me because my child was wet in class. Not a preschool, not kindergarten or first grade, a 6th grade class. The News and Observer contacted the public schools after Thursday's meeting to ask about policies related to bathroom use. The physical and socio-emotional health and safety of our students is a priority of our public schools. Laws protecting the privacy of students and employees prevent us from commenting on this case, but as stated during the board meeting, the administration of the middle school has addressed this issue. Speakers at the school board meetings get 3 minutes. Toward the end of her time, Dixon said she was proud of her daughter's respect to her teacher and did not walk out when it happened, despite the embarrassment this caused. And then the last part is just babbly bits from there. So the idea that here we have a school or a teacher who got tired of the poor choices being made and then said because that kids can't go use the restroom, but then you have a kid who wet themselves in the classroom. So it becomes that, where do things balance out? By the way, as I go to iHum, this is me still trying to buy you time to do a respondy thing, because I'm again trying to not give you homework. iHum.
I'm done.
I already submitted my face.
One more time.
I have to put myself in class and make sure my face. And also, for the student slapping the teacher, wouldn't the teacher hitting them back make it worse? Because wouldn't that make it into a fight? And then you can hit them back, and they'll hit you back. And then
So that's one thing I wanted to get to. So
surprisingly, one
from-
of them is an adult.
one of them is, but one of them also started it. So my question to you guys is, by a show of hands in a second, if a teacher were to get slapped by a kid because it was part of a challenge like this, and the kid was videotaping it for social media, do you think the teacher should be allowed to retaliate physically towards that student?
No.
Those of you who say yes, show hands.
My favorite teacher
Not yelling at me, show hands.
I have a question.
Then hands down. Those of you who say no, it's a child and you should not hit a child, raise hands.
Ooh,
Interesting.
we are precious. But if I was the teacher, I would slap
All right. Now I will hear ideas and discussions from there. Greg?
If I couldn't use the bathroom in class and I have to sit in class, I'm gonna either pee on my teacher or I'm gonna go outside and pee on school property.
And to go with what Greg's bringing up, I've had similar issues in class. I've had a kid recently who used all their B points because they act like an idiot, used up their hall passes in the first 3 days, and then has gotten in trouble in the hallways for poor choices. Then the kid in my class goes, "Can I use the bathroom?" They have no points, they have no passes, they've gotten in trouble in the hallway. Do I let that kid go?
Yeah.
And so my issue is, if I say no and keep the kid here and they do have to pee, they end up wetting themselves and I get in trouble. If they're lying to me and they just go out there and get in trouble in the hallway, I get yelled at. Because teachers are responsible when they send kids out there. We're responsible for sending kids to the hallway. So then it becomes, which direction do I go on something like that? I want to respect the kid, but at the same time, I don't want to get in trouble for their choice. Kat?
So I forgot if this was a dream, a video, or this happened in one of my schools. But I remember somehow I remember at one point, I think it was I don't remember. Anyways, it was one of those three. Basically, there was like a camera outside of the bath, like outside to see who goes in, and then after like someone would go in, like it would be one person at a time, and then they'd go out. But I feel like that would be a good idea, like keeping the camera outside, and then after someone goes in and then goes out, you check. I know that it would be like inconvenient, but then kids can use the bathroom, and also you can see who, if the Devious Licks keeps going, you can see who does it and who doesn't.
And part of the issue is, like we have that here. There are cameras outside the bathrooms that are right out there. Two issues that come with it. One, sometimes it happens during passing periods when there's so many kids going back and forth, it's hard to track. And the other one is if it's not during that time and you only have certain kids going in and out, that's why they have like the whole not being able to wear a hat that covers your face. Because if kids come out, they try to, and that gets tougher right now. Like we'll have a thing where they'll send out a picture of a kid from the camera and they'll go, "We suspect this kid did a thing. Does anyone recognize them?" But they're wearing like, a headband and they're wearing a mask and all you have is this much of someone's face and it's hard to recognize who that person is. And so the cameras don't always work as well. Now the thing is, if it's not during a passing period, it's easier to track them because you can just follow the halls and find out where they went. But it goes into it. I agree. I had one of the things that a kid mentioned earlier as a solution was, well, why don't you just send a good kid with them when they go to the bathroom? And I was like,
I
well,
suspect that kid.
that's the issue. Right. Well, one, if you're a good kid, you don't want to have to go with another kid to the bathroom. That's weird. Two, I don't want to go, hey, Bobby has to go potty. Who wants to go with him? Because if a kid goes, I do, that's also creepy. So that's not a good solution either. So trying to find that. And plus, Monday, we talked about whether or not you guys would turn in a friend.
It's just a bell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me charge you guys points because I'm still talking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Monday, we had the discussion. Monday, we had the discussion about whether you guys would turn in a friend for doing a thing, and you guys all started yelling about snitches. And so the idea of now the solution is to take a snitch with you, probably not the best solution there either.
There's yours.
I am glad to see you guys are excited for SEL for us to learn. So let's